I'm Lawrence Chau. Today on Ghostly Encounters, we meet Kat, a woman who knows all too well the European folklore that spawned the term hag-ridden. Folklore describing witches that climb onto sleeping humans to terrify and sometimes to kill.
Hi everybody, and thanks for tuning into Showbuzz for all the juiciest entertainment news and gossip in town and around the globe.
Do you think Hollywood has in some ways become colorblind at last to roles for actors and the characters that they can play?
I don't know. Good question. I hope so.
If a fairy godmother came down and said, okay, Michelle, you either act in Hong Kong or Hollywood, who would you pick and why?
Oh, I think that is so unfair.
Was it hard getting into character or was getting out of character?
No. We're professionals.
How are you bracing yourself for any criticisms or...
I don't know. How do you brace yourself for any criticism?
Has that part of your life being an attractive, charming sex symbol been a help or a hindrance?
I never quite see myself in the way you've described.
You're still very much the sex symbol. You just walked past those female reporters. They all went weak in the knees when you said hello.
I know. What's going on there?
And I think you're gorgeous!
From Hong Kong to Shanghai and then to Beijing.
I'm Lawrence Chau reporting from LA in Switzerland. Here's more from New York. I'm here in Taiwan, where American pop diva Mariah Carey has just flown in. And what better place to catch Hong Kong's biggest and brightest talents than at the 16th Hong Kong Film Awards. And the winner of Miss Singapore Universe 2001 is contestant number 2, JB Chiu!
Take any spare and do what you've been doing throughout the show.
But you do have
No, because,
you do have
parents
point.
name their kids like it's either Mark and Bob or it's Christopher and Vanessa. Yeah.
Final answer C, Eugenie.
Oh, God.
$32,000.
You've been on all these magazines, like, look at this. There's so many here.
It's really great to have you joining us again on It Matters Radio.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be back.
Oh yeah, I'm so pleased.
You'll notice, Lawrence, if you see Monica tonight, she's kind of got her vampire look going, a little dark.
I do.
Mostly because your show is starting up again, isn't it?
It's in celebration of season 2, Ghostly Encounters Destination America. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting all dressed up and getting the mood lighting there.
Yeah. Lawrence, this isn't because you're our guest, but that is probably one of my all-time favorite shows. I never miss it, ever, ever, ever.
Really?
Yeah, and I watch rerun after rerun. But,
Monica.
Well, first of all, there's other shows that are on something like that, but I have to say this, and it's before I ever met you, Lawrence. You make that show. The way that you compose yourself and how you narrate it is just perfect.
Oh, thank you so much.
Lawrence, I think we have a fan here.
Oh yeah, you do. You do. I'm
you deserve
one of your
it, man.
biggest fans. I am.
I appreciate it.
Well, you've brought me much joy, so.
And of course, Monica writes about that kind of speculative fiction a lot. So it's really, it touches. But I have to tell you, here at It Matters Radio, we have a lot of fans of ghostly type of material. We have, for example, we have an author from South Africa who's going to be on soon. And she writes about these great love scenes between people across dimensions, people in this world and people in the other world, and crossing back and forth. And they all, every one of them, one of the things that they tell me when I talk to them about it is, yes, I know of ghostly encounters, and I love the show. It inspires me, and it feels real to me.
Wow, thank you.
Do you know what, Ken? I think maybe that's, you hit it on the head. It feels real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're the only person I know of, Lawrence, that can do that, that can make that happen. So
I was watching a clip from the show today that you had provided. We, unfortunately, because of technical issues, we can't share it like we did the trailer. But I watched it, and about the little boy sitting in the corner, playing kind of with his ghostly friend.
yeah.
And, you know, having lived in a house where we had a ghost in residence, I really could relate to that kid.
Is that
And I wanted to play too, but then I always want to play.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know. Well, you know what intrigues me, what you said earlier about that, your friend who is doing these romantic stories and, you know, ghosts,
Right.
interdimensional love affairs, gives a new meaning to things that go bump in the night.
Yes, it does.
And, you know, ghosts are supposed to be, you know, wearing the sheets, but they're under the sheets.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So Lawrence, I know that you've actually been involved in some other things though. Like there was an ad that you shared, I believe, with us on Facebook. Did you see that, Ken? He looks dashing.
Oh yes, I've seen his clip.
Yeah.
You know, his audition clip, and he's got a lot of different appearances, faces. He's an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how about that?
I'm Karma Chameleon.
He's an actor.
Actor, not only, you know, TV shows, comedy, drama, a host. I do the commercials. Jack of all trades.
You are, and and Ken, are we going to show a clip of some of his other aspects?
Well, I don't have one handy for right now, but maybe we can find one and share it.
If I can find it, I'll play it.
Oh, okay. Maybe if you have it, you can show it.
Yeah, because you're so, you know, there's so many dimensions to you, Lawrence. I know a lot of people, you know, they see you and they go, ghostly encounters, but you've done so many other things also. I mean, weren't you a game show host even?
Oh, I hosted Hollywood Square Singapore. It was called Celebrity Square, so that was fun. Oh, geez, Miss Singapore Universe. You know, I worked in Asia before.
Yeah.
I came back and worked in Canada, and now I'm based in Los Angeles. So, yeah, I've done a lot of things. Geez, I've been on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Singapore. Oh, gosh, a lot of live specials. Just on and on. You know, Showbuzz was the #1 entertainment news program in Singapore. Did that, and then did all that in Asia. Came back to North America. When I say come back, I was born in Toronto, Canada. So back to North America. My roots. My roots are not in Asia. Not the ginseng. My roots are snow.
Oh no, not snow. Dirty word.
And Ghostly Encounters landed in my lap, as well as more acting opportunities. I was always acting in Asia and Canada, and then when I moved to Los Angeles not too long ago, as a stroke of fate, Destination America picked up Ghostly Encounters, and that's airing now, second season. The first season did quite well in the ratings, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then thanks to you guys, of course, people like you watching the show. And, you know, I'm continuing with the acting as well and appearing on the odd commercial here and there. So
maybe we should take a minute and ask where people can see Ghostly Encounters and what night is it? Are they broadcasting it? What network?
Destination America, Monday nights, 9 p.m., 8 Central. That's cable channel. And this year we also got picked up in England. We're on your TV there.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
That's great.
And I think we're still airing in Canada on Oprah's network.
Do you know when it begins, the new season? What date?
It's just begun in August.
Oh, it did begin in August? Oh, I didn't even know this. I missed it.
Well, Monica, I'll bet if you use your computer, I'll bet you can find it because.
Well, the timing is perfect because as we do this interview, it's just started, second season.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So,
true.
yeah,
So-
and I'm also in Asia on Crime and Investigation TV Asia with Ghostly as well. So it's kind of, I keep saying I've gone global with ghosts.
You have. You have.
The Haunting of Lawrence Chau.
Maybe you need to be in some horror movies. I don't know.
I get a lot of questions. I really should, I really should do my own little horror film projects. It would be fun. Scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, just a little, your own little produce, direct, your own little horror.
I'd be like my own little Vincent Price.
Yes, yes.
With Monica's mood lighting.
Yes, don't you think it's perfect?
My question is, if you were to do a ghost story, you were to create your own ghost story and play the ghost, would you be more like Casper, the friendly ghost, or the haunting
that romantic ghost that was going through the sheets that you mentioned earlier? No.
Okay, that I could relate to. Okay, the romantic ghost.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be one of those evil ghosts that came out to kill people.
Right.
I to the other side. That's not me.
I have trouble because I've gotten to know you, and I guess maybe you could, and I just can't see it. But I'd have trouble casting you, for example, as a zombie.
Have you seen me in the mornings?
I think we could all be zombies in the morning.
Right? It's like, wake up. It's not coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Once you got the coffee, we just change. There's a metamorphosis that happens.
Exactly.
I have a policy in the morning when I get up. I sit down at my computer and I start answering emails.
Immediately?
Yeah. And I answer the emails from the people that I don't like. Then I go have my coffee and I answer the others.
That's hilarious. No, but yeah, I mean, emails are definitely within the first, on the to-do list when you wake up. Isn't that awful now? As soon as you wake up, I got to check my emails.
I do it too. I do that before I go to work. So yeah.
If I lived on the East Coast, if I still lived on the East Coast, I'd check them late. But here, I'm already way behind.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so, but I do that. I distinctly, all the things I want to be nasty about, I'll do those before the coffee. And then I have my coffee and it mellows me out and I'm no longer the zombie ready to attack.
That's right. So, Lawrence, what other things have you been doing since you've been in LA?
I think we may have a tech glitch, in which case,
You've been on all these magazines, like, look at this. There's so many here.
Yeah.
Disconnection?
I mean, right into your video. What did you do? Lawrence, I think there's ghosts following you around.
Yeah, I think so.
That was really weird.
They're attracted to my positive energy.
That must be what it is. That must be what it is.
I think maybe we better be a little careful what questions we ask him. When I start asking him what kind of ghost he'd be, maybe that sets them off.
Right. I had a question though. You must meet so many people that have had these supernatural experiences from all over. has that changed your mind at all, or made you open your mind, or think about supernatural and possibilities?
I've always been a believer, and that was actually, I think, one of the pluses of landing the job as the host. Because when I went to audition, they asked me what were my, personal ghostly encounters, my own experiences. So I told them. So I think they like that aspect of it. So in terms of me meeting other people who have had their own ghostly encounters, I always approach it with an open mind, provided, they don't have like 10 cats crawling around their ankles and
What did he just say? Because here,
they have a lot of medication on the counter. Then I was like, okay. No, but generally,
well, yeah, I mean, some people are touched in the head, and other people have had some real experiences, So, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
she pulls up a cat. I'm so...
That was no. Do you know that when you said that, she just appeared?
Really?
I swear to you, I was going to say, oh my gosh, and Punky just appeared, and she walked across, and then she came.
That's hilarious. But the funny thing is, people mistake me. When they see me hosting the show, they think I'm like some medium.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Did they get confused?
I'm not a spiritualist. That said, I think
I don't know.
I have a sixth sense, and this is a true story. Can I tell a true story quickly?
Sure, I'd love to hear it.
My old condo complex. The owner, she comes up to me. She goes, Lawrence. She knows me from the show. She goes, my furniture's moving in my house. I go, what are you talking about? Okay, So I went over, and she's like, her picture frame lifted off the floor, and her chairs were moving. I'm like, are you crazy? She goes, what do you feel? What do you feel? Because I've always said I've got this sense. So I went into the house and I did a walkthrough, and I swear to God, I went to the living room was fine. As soon as I went into the hallway and the bathroom and her bedroom area with her husband, it got cold. Like
freezing cold?
Freezing cold. Just like in the movie Sixth Sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I would walk right back into the living room, it was fine. The goosebumps would disappear. I would stick my arm in that hallway and all these goosebumps would come up.
Wow.
I said to her, the message I'm getting, I'm not a spiritualist or a psychic, but the message I'm getting is that the person who lived here before was an interior designer, and he's not happy with the way you've designed his place. And there's definitely something off in that hallway area, and he's just not a happy camper. Anyway, true story.
So did she change anything after that?
No, but just recently, this is like a couple years ago, her neighbor Facebooks me. She goes, Lawrence, I was watching Tanya's house, and all this rattling was happening, and they were away in New York, and they said the hangers in the closets were all rattling, and she heard things. She called the cops. They came. They broke into their house. It was nothing.
Well, no, wait a minute. Not nothing.
Well, yeah, but
they didn't find anything.
Something not from our
she
world.
said she heard all this stuff, and she knew, having lived in the complex for many decades, she knew that the person who lived there before was an interior decorator.
She knew it.
Died.
So you were right.
I was right.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Now everybody's going to call you up and want you to be their medium.
I was going to ask you, over the last couple of years of doing the show, you've met a lot of spiritualists and people who I guess claim that they can make that kind of, and aren't they usually just, it's not some kind of like a book. You know, they're not opening a book and it's writing. They're having that kind of sensory kind of experience that they're just more open to it than maybe other.
I think some people definitely have a gift. I do believe in, you know, the sixth sense, intuition. You know, I do think it does exist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not overly, you know, obsessed with it and stuff thing, but I do think, you know, paranormal exists. I do think these people have these gifts. I've met some psychics and spiritualists, even in Asia and Hong Kong. I used to work in a PR firm, and we organized one of the first kind of like a convention for the esoteric arts, where they had Chinese spiritualists and feng shui experts, and, you know, all these people converging together for the first time in Hong Kong. And there's a lot of gifted people out there. And also in Los Angeles, I met a spiritualist, and they would tell you things from your life. You're like, how I don't know this person. It's like, it's really freaky.
Yeah.
Really, it's very specific. It's not even airy-fairy. You know, you go to a tarot card reader and they're just reading something off the textbook, right? And fishing. It's specific. And I'm like,
specific to you.
Yeah, and that's when you kind of like get in your car and leave. No.
Yeah, it's scary. But my experience is kind of weird in that I've been to haunted places and felt that they were haunted. I've lived in a house and knew rather intimately, not with the bed sheets, but rather intimately, the ghosts who lived there, opening and closing doors for us and things. But what has struck me is that there are some people who are more attuned and less attuned. And I'm here on the spectrum, and then there are people who are way the heck over here where they can get it all. And we've had a couple on the show. I think Monica will remember we had Pat Bono on the show. And she would do she also does animal readings and things like that. And the specificity used to blow my mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like you're saying.
Yeah. I know. That's what we need is ghostly pet encounters.
There are pet spiritualists out there.
Pat is one of them. But I was wondering, have you ever personally consulted a spiritual advisor or reader?
You know, for shits and giggles, I have.
Yeah.
Some of them are total airy-fairy, fluffy, you know, fluffy muffies, but others are really specific.
Yeah.
But always approach them with a caution, because there are a lot of charlatans out there.
Yes.
Most of them are, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just out for the money.
And some of them have the gift and are using it for the money.
But that, according to the people I've met, most of those people tend to lose their gift. That if you're primarily using it to service yourself, you end up losing that sensitivity, because it's almost like another sense. You know, and I think one of the reasons that cats are so eerie is that they are more tuned in to things that are different.
That's interesting.
It could be.
I was in Hong Kong sitting by the harbor, and an Indian spiritualist comes up to me. And in India, they're very, they have training centers where they can develop the third eye and stuff like that. And he came up to me, and he was telling me, you know, it was part of his way to make money and stuff like that. And he was only asking for a donation if he wanted to. And I said, it wasn't much. I'll do it for fun. Oh my, it's specific. How many, if I wrote a number on a paper, he says, and then he would you could tell me the number or the word, how many brothers I had, very specific things. It's kind of scary. Out of the blue.
Yeah. It's very impressive, very scary. Well, but now, what would be your dream role that you'd like to play? Because obviously your goal is not to play just in Ghostly Encounters as the host. no matter how well you do it, I'm sure you want to do other things, and we've already kind of hit that. What is your dream as an actor?
It's a good question. I don't have a specific. I can't say that I'm one of those actors. I really want to be a James Bond. I really want to be a detective. I don't. I really don't.
Do you like the variety?
I could see myself doing ridiculous comedy.
Okay.
I could see myself doing a serious doctor or some sort of a movie about social justice. I'm really passionate about if there ever was an opportunity to shed light on the story of the plight of the Chinese railroad workers.
Oh, wow.
In America and Canada, I'd love to do a project of that scale, epic scale.
Yeah, why hasn't anybody done that?
Good question.
I mean, this is history, and well, there you need to get some people together.
Americans don't want to look at how cruel we are, but let me ask you something.
Well, we do with roots and everything else.
Yeah, I've been championing it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Jerome, Arizona?
No.
Have they talked about doing a Ghostly Encounters in Jerome?
No.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm going to give you an idea. Supposedly, now this is the story I've been told, that Jerome is up near Sedona, which of course everybody's heard of Sedona, because especially in the spiritual world, because it's supposed to be a place of great spiritual energy. But Jerome is up the road from that way, and it's a mining town. Now, the story I heard, and I don't know if it's historically accurate or not, but it is supposed to be very haunted. And the story was that there were a number of railroad workers, obviously Chinese, who were locked in and burned to death. And I wonder now if maybe you wouldn't like to try and get the crew and a couple of your best spiritualists out to Jerome to do a show.
So
because, boy, is that...
Are people seeing ghosts there all the time, or have we hearing?
People who live up there say that it's haunted. The hotel is supposed to be haunted. I have a problem. I've been to Jerome. My problem with Jerome is that my wife uses a mobility scooter. And because of that, Jerome is on a mining town. It's on the side of a mountain. And, my wife...
I'm taking notes.
My wife really can't get around in there. So, but I would say that it's supposed to be very much a haunted town. I'm not talking like a ghost town is deserted. We have a ghost here too.
Right.
This is a town the hotel is supposed to be haunted. We never made it into the hotel because, again, we couldn't figure out a way to get her in comfortably.
Right.
Is it just one hotel? Is it just one hotel?
There's the one hotel in town. The town is very narrow because the road runs right along. It's facing on the mountain, and of course the mine was right here, on the side.
That's interesting.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I never heard about that before.
Yeah. Oh, well, if you come out here to Arizona, folks, if you come out, Jerome is one of the most fascinating towns to visit, just in general. A great place to look for wonderful things to buy, like jewelry and stuff. But the vibe of the town really makes me believe that hunting is quite possible.
Will I be the only Asian if I went on a holiday? Again?
They do not barbecue Asians anymore here.
No, you're fine.
Thankfully, Arizona has
media events.
Place.
I was like, oh, who's that token Asian? Where is he? No, I'm over here. I met Connie Chung. Remember Connie Chung, newscaster?
Yes.
And she was a keynote speaker at a dinner once, and she was reflecting on her rise into the media landscape. And she said she would go to all these functions and stuff, and she'd be the only Asian. And she'd walk past the mirror, and she'd like, "Oh, Connie, you're Asian."
Oh, wow. I love it.
Well, I think that Hollywood really needs to open up its minds a little bit. I mean, not even just for Asians, but for all ethnic groups.
Well, the world is changing. Recently, a very dear friend of mine, I've met the gentleman only once or twice, but I'd known her for a while. And she announced that she was leaving here in Phoenix and going out to live in town and on the coast of California with this gentleman whom I had met. And he is of Chinese background. And he is a banker. And he ran a rather major bank here in Phoenix. I mean, I wish them luck. Lovely man. And the little bit I saw of him, lovely man. But I really am very sad that she's leaving. But there are one of the problems here in Phoenix, and I don't know whether this is universally true, but I notice that it's getting very difficult for Chinese restaurants, for example, and Indian restaurants and Filipino restaurants and Korean restaurants to staff within the Asian community because the young people are all going to university.
Oh, yeah.
And saying, hey, I don't want to wait table. I don't want to cook. I don't want to do these.
I think they're all going to the Bay Area.
Yeah, I want to become a computer programmer. I want to become
because
waiter's not on the high list anymore.
Exactly.
I mean, restaurant business,
No, it's not, and that's
technology and business and finance.
Exactly, and that's a good thing because by getting involved in all those aspects of life and businesses and life, you're going to see them backing movies.
It's a wonderful thing, yes, and I think that that's part of it. Yes, as the Asian community becomes more flexible, and as the non-Asian community becomes more accepting of that flexibility too. I mean, the simple fact is, I was talking to somebody today about mixed race marriages, a black woman, and we were talking about black-white marriages and how different it is today. Mm-hmm. And when I had to spend a lot of time back years ago working with a couple people because they were so opposed to their children's marrying.
Yeah, it was
as a therapist, I had to work them through all of that, and they were, but our grandchildren will never have a life, and they have these two absolutely wonderful grandkids. I know
they all are.
Yeah, and just, I mean, these two kids don't make it to the top of the world. I don't know that any kids ever will, because I mean, bright, charming, humorous, handsome, and beautiful kids. But, they listen to these parents talk about it. It was the end of the world. And I think as we grow as a world to accepting more and more, I think we're going to see more Asian influence in the media.
Well, it's happening now. I mean, even on TV and such. So it's great.
What do you think?
And I think a lot of it, aside from the morally right thing to do, or it's a reflection of true society. Mm-hmm. That is one of the impetuses for change. But the real change, it's going to be money. it's show business. And what I mean by that is that it's the China market. When America realizes, and they do now, that the Chinese movie market will usurp the American box office in 2018 with the Chinese population, and also the Indian market, and that financial incentive to integrate is going to propel Hollywood to bring on more change. I don't, as much as you can, go on your soapbox and demand change, I don't think that's going to do it. I think it's the money.
I agree. I agree.
It's always the money. Yeah. No, you're right, though. It is.
And, that's what I think is going to happen. It's just still interesting, though, but it's still baby steps. When you look at diversity, it's more diversity is more apparent in television now. It starts off with commercials generally, because they know the ad money by diversifying, they're going to get more for their sales.
No, you're so right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then TV it starts to trickle in that way. Usually comedy first, then drama. And hosting is not so much. News, yes, but not entertainment hosting. We don't see many Asians or Indians as entertainers, especially Asian males like me.
Well, we see one on Ghostly Encounters.
But not entertainment news, you know what I mean?
No.
The peripheral kind of niche kind of things. And then I think the movies is the last tier. It's the big kahunga that's still waiting. So it'll change. It's just a matter of...
Well, I think you're going to end up in a comedy.
I think that...
I do. I don't know why, but I just feel this.
I was going to cast
I really want to do both.
In your movie role.
Monica, we get to see Lawrence, and that's one of the great things about doing the show this way. We get to see Lawrence as a person. And we get to see his humor, that wonderful, my God, that smile of his. I mean, he smiles, and I go, and we get to see all of that of him. Of course, when he goes in and he's going to read for the part of Hamlet, let's say, he won't laugh as he's doing to be or not to be.
Did you say ham and eggs? Omelet?
Yeah. No, I just think
I'm reading for omelet.
I know that, Ken. I just feel that he's going to do a comedy. Though
I agree with you.
But
we do get to see that side of him so wonderfully in the show.
Yeah. But his personality comes out along with whatever character. I guess the humor comes out. That's what I'm trying to say, not your personality.
I'd really love to see him do, as long as we're picking his career. Mom and Dad are now picking your career.
That's right. You hear this? Comedy, number one. Okay, Ken, what's number two?
My thing is, I would love to see him as kind of the host narrator of a children's program where they did stories for kids on television. Because stories where kids were being kind of challenged to grow a little, to think about the meaning of a story and expand themselves. But I think he has the warmth and the humor and the authenticity to do that for kids.
I love that, because I would attribute my career direction into the arts, into entertainment and communication, is because of my English and art teachers who always taught us to, what's the story about?
Right.
And even though the writer wrote it that way, what's your interpretation of it?
The story.
And I was like, gee, I would be so fascinated. I was this kid in those English classes, and all my friends were like picking their nose.
See? Instead of Mr.
You loved that class because...
And I was getting my brain picked while they were picking their noses.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Instead of Mr. Rogers, it's Mr. Chau.
And I deliver. No.
Yes.
No, I think Mr. Rogers is younger than I'm thinking. I'm thinking really like the kids in the elementary grades, the grades like 3 up through 7 or 8.
Those are my favorite years, you know. Primary school, my favorite.
They're the formative years.
Yeah. And I had the best, I don't know.
He's still enjoying them. What are you talking formative? He's still enjoying them.
Most of the high school teachers were, but the primary school teachers,
yeah, it was
awesome.
Yeah, they were. They were. You're right. Funny.
Before we run out of time, I want to remind our listeners we've been listening and talking with a dear friend, Lawrence Chau, who is currently hosting the new season of Ghostly Encounters. And folks, it's a great show. But as you've seen and learned tonight, this is a man with great depth and humor. And, oh gosh, I've got him going
thinking
again.
Gilligan's Island, that ghost episode that scared the pants off me when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
For some reason, I'm thinking about it because of you guys. Do you remember that howl? I was so scared. I ran to my mom.
Yeah, it was great. It was one of my favorite episodes. It's funny you brought that up.
That howling, that ghost, it scared the hell out of me. I was a kid.
That's great. Oh gosh, I'm so glad that the people that are watching this show get to see you as a person, Lawrence. Because hey, what laughs we've had tonight, and it's fantastic. But if anyone is listening out there that is in Hollywood or is making commercials or needs a spokesperson, I hope you will contact Lawrence.
This is a guy to contact, absolutely.
Because he is very diversified. He can be one of the most serious actors you've ever seen in your life, or one of the most humorous. And
and notice how his face can change to reflect that.
Yes, whatever you want, right there. Like
I said, karma chameleon.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
I sure hope that you will think about coming out here to the Phoenix area to find out about our ghosts.
That would be so interesting because I just never knew about that, and I think people need to hear about the Chinese.
I think people need to hear about the Chinese. I think and the terrible way that they were treated when making the Union Pacific Railroad. And the funny thing is, that years later, that railroad is still binding this country together. Oh, most of us don't ride it anymore, but we use it to ship our freight back and forth. And the funny thing is that those tunnels that those Chinese laborers drilled through the Rocky Mountains still carry those freight trains. And those freight trains now are carrying all that stuff that we're buying from China. All of those things that are being manufactured in China. And I don't think that any place in this country is there any kind of a monument or remembrance of those men, 99% men who died or labored. And then, of course, the ones who didn't die, if they weren't forced to go back, many were, but if those who weren't, ended up, working in our cities and continued to be treated terribly in this country until very recently. And of course, if we take all Asians, and we also have to include what's happened to the Japanese during the Second World War, and also the children of the Filipinos, the families who served in the war, whose children were then denied entry, even though we had promised that they would be allowed into
I
the
know. How about
so
that?
So many things like that, not dealing with the Asians.
Right. Well, that'd be interesting. I Who knows? Maybe they'll have you. Maybe you'll visit there. Lawrence.
He's got to come now. Now he's got to come. Hey, we'll even put on a party for you.
Oh, okay, cool. You hit a lot of notes that it's been in my churning in my blood and my soul.
Well, good. But he said no lasagna at the party, huh?
Lactose free. I'm game. I love lasagna.
Oh, if he comes here, my wife will cook dinner for him. I don't know what she'll come up with, but I will guarantee that you will find at least one thing you haven't eaten.
Okay, I'll do a walk through your house and feel the vibes.
There you go.
But I don't do windows.
You don't. Yeah.
And I want to remind everybody to check out Ghostly Encounters at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday nights, and it's on
Destination America.
Destination America. Yeah, isn't that one of the Discovery channels?
Well, Monica's really on the ball.
I'm trying.
I know. Just kidding.
Oh God, you're hilarious. It's such a joy to have you on this show. And
no, I'm kidding. She doesn't.
Yeah. By the way, how do you like LA?
This city is crazy. I mean, the perception is that we're waking up and we're just strolling on the beach and, taking really chill. But meanwhile, we're living in our car on a freeway every day. Right.
It's a go to the beach. Town. It's a 6-hour trip each way. Unless you live there.
It's like beautiful weather.
Yes.
Crazy. A lot of crazy.
Yeah. That was the same with the Bay Area. I lived there for 30 years, and it went from being this beautiful countryside. You actually had cows and orchards and everything to a Silicon Valley hitting.
Yeah.
And, we'd go to Santa Cruz before all the time. It was about a half hour away. Well, by the time I left there, it was a chore to even go to the beach.
Exactly.
Because you had to inch your way for what took a half hour, took like 2 hours to get there.
And then you get there and you got to do the parking thing.
Yeah.
And then by then you're like, my feet are killing me, the heat is killing me.
You have road rage by the time you get to your destination.
I'm like, give me a New York subway any day.
Exactly. So, nice place to visit, everybody. It's just the city. There's still places like that are around the big cities that aren't so congested, but it's different though, isn't it, Lawrence? Yeah.
Well, he grew up in a big city. He grew up in
we had subway systems.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Just a more civilized one.
Exactly.
One that actually brought you to places.
Right.
LA.
One of your problems living in LA is that you were raised in Canada, so you still have manners. You see, the whole thing in America, we practice football.
Not all of us.
Well, Monica, you're an exception.
People are nice. People are nice. They may fake out on you a lot, but they're nice.
That's right. They basically are. But I want to remind everybody to please check out Ghostly Encounters, and I hope that Lawrence, you'll keep in touch with Ken and myself and let us know what happens in your life so we can let everybody else know.
Please connect with me on Facebook, Lawrence Chau, actor host on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's Lawrence Chau Act, and of course my website, www.lawrencechow.com.
All right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Said it better.
Absolutely.
I couldn't have said it as well.
That's Chau, C-H-A-U.
Yes.
Chau, C-H-O-W.
That's right. Big difference. One's the dog and one is Lawrence. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Bad host. Okay.
Thanks, guys. I had a great time.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us
it was
today.
fantastic, Lawrence. And
Ciao.
bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, gosh. You know, I just love him because he's always so upbeat and just makes me laugh every time, Ken.
He's a wonderful guy. I so enjoy Lawrence, and folks do connect with him on Facebook and Twitter, and visit his website, and be sure you get Ghostly Encounters. And while we're telling you what to get to, also be sure that you join us on It Matters Radio on Sunday afternoons for our music show. And Monday through Friday for our Euro Indie show, and on Saturday for our special World Music show.
Yes, I think you'll just love them all. And Ken, it's been fantastic. And I think that we're going to just leave with a quick little video, and that'll be it.
Good night, Monica.
Good night, Ken.
Good to go.
It's okay. It's okay. We're not going to hurt you. Tell them it's okay. We're not going to hurt you.
Sige, we won't.
He is dead.
Excuse me, Dr. Albright.
What?
We've got a problem. There's been a security breach. Someone hacked into the hospital's network.
Did you help Wendy abort an unwanted pregnancy so she could compete?
We managed to save the baby through cesarean. The ICP test on the hair sample confirms metal poisoning.
I didn't mean for her to die, Detective. It was an accident.
How does it feel to be the victim for a change? Get me out of here! Go! Run her over! Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, the Chinese government does not take kindly to hardline tactics.
It's not yours.
What?
I can explain.
Get it.
I think he's probably going around setting up another scam, trying to determine how he's going to pay for his next meal or his lodging, taking care of his family, taking care of himself.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Chau. Today in Ghostly Encounters, we meet Nick and Christina.
So, Katie, what type of food does Shreese like? Italian, Mexican, Chinese?
Hey, Jeff!
Yeah?
Where are my Mars soil samples?
Just give me 5 minutes. Kiss you later.
What?
Catch you later.
Okay. Bye. I give up.
What she needs to give up are those hideous glasses. Seriously? Okay.
Nurse, can we order Mr. Weinberg another recto before he checks out?